Action Figures! Oi, 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 oi! Outback Action Figures! Oi, 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 oi!
G'day, how's it going? Welcome back to Outback Action Figures. Or if it's your first time here, please feel free to subscribe and keep an eye out for more reviews coming up real soon. So, for today, let's take a look at this Daredevil Man Without Fear. Now, this was part of the mini comic book wave. They come with this little thing here. This was the second wave of these figures they've done. The first one was last year. I did get a couple of those, but for the most part, I wasn't too fussed about them. This was another one I got recently with the EB Games, the Cheap Tuesday sale. It was half price, originally $45, but come down to $22.50. Now that obviously is in Aussie dollary dues, so feel free to jump on Google and you can have a quick look, convert that to your own local currency if you're not from Australia. Now this was one I started on the other day, was doing the Wolverine, the World War II Logan, and I was going to do this as well in the same video, but it just went on a bit long, so I thought I'll do a separate one and we'll take a look at him now. So it comes with the retro card packaging. We've got the, it looks like the top of a corner of a comic book cover here. We've got the big title across the front, bit of artwork in the back, as you can see there. And very comic-inspired font along the front here as well. So we'll take a look at the back, and it shows there some of the other figures in this second wave. Now this was the only one I've picked up from this wave, because I've already got Silver Surfer. He came with the big Galactus. The rest of them, I've already got a sort of classic beast for my X-Men collection, and the rest of these I just wasn't hugely interested in, to be honest. But yeah, always interested in a good Daredevil figure. Now again, this shows the iconic cover of this one, which that is the cover that it's got on the little mini comic book on the front here. Now, I feel, honestly, these are a bit of a gimmick. I'm not too fussed about that as an accessory. Like, it's cool, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing, but for me, personally, I got this just for the figure itself. That was my main interest with this one. Alright, so that's basically it for the packaging. Nothing too crazy on there. Oh, we do have the little blurb on the back. I'll pause and let you have a look at that if you want to read. So that's pretty much it. Let's crack it open and see what we've got here. Alright, so now that we've got everything out of the package, let's have a closer look. Now obviously he does have this little mini comic here, featuring that iconic cover that we showed on the back of the packaging. If we just get that to focus. Yes, there we go. Again, like I said, I feel like these are a bit of a gimmick. It's cool if you're into this sort of thing, but, I don't feel like the characters themselves would be reading their own comic from a fictional world that they are part of. Just doesn't quite make sense, but, I guess we can't complain about extra accessories. Just got the Legends logo on the back there. So put that aside for now. And he does have a selection of hands. It comes with a fist and a gesturing hand on the figure itself. He has this one. It's a trigger figure hand. I did this last time. Trigger finger hand. Now, I'm guessing this is just to hold on to the book. So we can do that. But again, I feel like it doesn't really make sense for him to be reading his own fictional book. But anyway, again, can't complain about extra hands. And because it's just plain black, you could obviously just use that with a different figure. Now, he does have a grip hand as well, which we'll get to that in a minute, but looks like that's for his staff here. So we'll have another look at that. And that does, yes, for a weapon wielding hand, it does have the up and down articulation on there, which is good, but we'll have a proper look at that later as well. And of course, he comes with a fist. Now, I've always said that figures should always come bare minimum with a set of fists. Absolute bare minimum. Now, obviously they should have alternate hands if they have a specific weapon or accessory that they're supposed to use, then obviously give them those hands to be able to use that. That's totally fair. But bare minimum, like I said, they should always have a spare set of just plain fist hands for posing or photography or just to change up the look of them however you like. But yeah, luckily he does come with a fist plus the one that's already on there, so you got a good selection of hands there. And of course he does have his staff here. Now, cool thing is that does actually have a real little string attachment on the end, so you could wrap that around his wrist to attach it. Sort of like a walking stick for a real blind person, I suppose, which his character is supposed to be blind. but he can obviously use that as a weapon as well. So that's about it. Not a massive selection of accessories, but I don't really know what else you could put in here aside from possibly other hands, but I think this is a decent selection for what we've got. Alright, so we'll take a look at the actual figure himself now. So we've got here, it is a fairly plain outfit, just, dude in a black tracksuit, black hoodie, black pants, sneakers at the bottom there. Now this is based on his appearance from the actual Man Without Fear comic storyline, so obviously it's different from his classic red outfit. Because it's a bit of a generic look, you could even swap out this head for a couple others, and if you're doing toy photography or anything like that, you could just have it as a, generic person in the background to help fill out a scene. So I've actually got a couple of spare heads here. We'll give those a go in a sec just to see some of the other different options you can get. So yeah, start off at the top. We've got just a plain black hoodie. So it looks here like the top of the outfit here, the top of the hoodie, is actually a slightly different shade. The arms are definitely black plastic, but this has a slight green tinge to it. But otherwise, yeah, just plain black outfit. Got the hood on the back, just it's molded, so it's just stuck down there. Got these plain, black bandana over his head as well. The ties on the back. Now they're not articulated, but they are the soft plastic, so you can sort of move them around a little bit. Got a few, just sort of baggy wrinkles and stuff in the sculpt here for the sleeves as well. It comes down to a little cuff at the bottom and the gloved hands. Yeah, so that's it for the top, and obviously the bottom, they're just plain black pants. Some more sort of wrinkle sculpt along the side here, and sneakers on the bottom. They don't have any tread on them, so that's fine. But yeah, that's about it for the figure, and next we'll take a look at the articulation. Alright, so starting at the top with the head here, you can tilt back a bit, you can look down, you get full rotation on there, and you can tilt a bit to the side as well. Actually gets a pretty good tilt range. And pop that off for a sec. So it is just like the Wolverine from last time. It's got a ball joint at the bottom of the neck, which gives you a little bit of movement, and then the dumbbell at the top, which that's where most of the range of motion comes from. Now since we have got that head off, I'll try some of the other options I was talking about just before. So we've got just one of the Peter Parker spare heads here. So we can pop that on, and the body is possibly a bit bulky to actually be a Peter Parker figure, but like I was saying, that can just sort of fill in the background if you're doing a photography posing session of some kind and you just need something to, fill in some space. You can do that. We'll try another option. We've got one of the spare Punisher heads, Frank Castle. This is obviously the comic version, not from the TV show or movies, but we'll pop that on. Now the skin tone is a bit different from the neck to the actual head, but again, if you just need someone to fill out a bit of a space in the background, that could work, or even possibly a Punisher on a casual day, maybe just heading for a gym session or something like that. Alright, and one more. We've got the from the Tracksuit Mafia figures from the Hawkeye series. We've got those balaclava heads that they came with. Now again, this, because it's based on an MCU figure, it's slightly smaller than the comic versions, but I think you could still make this work if we can pop that on there. Yeah, so then that gives you a bit of a sort of generic thug looking dude. If you need like a sort of a robber or something like that to fill in a scene, I think that works. But yeah, so we'll continue on with the articulation. We'll stick the normal head back on. Alright, so there we go. So moving down, we've got the shoulders. It does actually come up past 90, so that's pretty good. They've got the butterfly joints here as well, which gives you a bit of back and forward motion on that arm. Now obviously I forgot to mention with the Wolverine review, but he does have the pivot here at the bicep, got the swivel, which is pretty standard for Legends these days anyway, well for quite a while now. But yeah, that gives you a good range there. We've got the double pinless elbows. Oops. Alright, so that, his arm basically comes all the way up. The sculpt is a little bit baggy here, so, it does stick out a little bit. But yeah, pretty much all the way up. And the full rotation on the wrist joint there, and it does swing in and out on that one. other arm is basically the same. It comes up, yeah, past 90 degrees. Got the same swivel as well, and the butterfly joints in and out. Same elbows, of course, and then the fist can swing in and out as well. Next, we got the cut in the abs here. Now, I did notice earlier as I was sort of pushing it back and forth, right on these corners where the pocket is on the front, they've pushed up into that top part and actually left little stress marks on there. So just a warning, if you get this one yourself, just be careful of that. Don't try and push it too far forward. Unfortunately, he really can't lean very far forward at all, especially with that joint. He gets a little bit of tilt back, but then it leaves a bit of a gap on the front. So not ideal, unfortunately. You can get a bit of rotation on that one. Well, full 360. And then, you know, he can sort of lean a bit side to side on that joint as well. And then just has a normal sort of waist swivel underneath. So, yeah, the articulation, it is a bit hindered in the torso there, which is not ideal, of course, but unfortunately, yeah, that's just the case with this one. So moving down to the legs, there's no drop down hip, so they're just on that spot. It can kick forward pretty much the whole way up. It goes back a little bit, and you can swing out pretty much all the way. And again, just like the Wolverine from last time, he gets a pretty good split. We've got the thigh cut there, thigh swivel, so that rotates the whole way around. And just like last time, we have the double pinless knees as well. So that comes pretty much the whole way up. And then for the feet, they go basically all the way back. It's a fair way forward. And then you got the ankle rocker, the ankle pivot there as well. So that's about it for articulation. And we'll take a look. We'll try out some of the different accessories, see what different looks we can get for him. Alright, so as you can see here, we've swapped out the hand for the grip hand and put the staff in that one as well with that little tie around his wrist. I've left the gesturing hand in because I felt like that just sort of fit, you know, this action pose we've got going on. Now, obviously, like I was saying before, he does come with the fists. So, you know, you could have, well, swap those around, yeah. You could have his, you know, fist hands in for more of a punching, just action pose. Like I said at the start, he does have this, you know, trigger finger hand here, but, you know, Daredevil really doesn't use guns, so I don't see that as much use to him. Now, it's cool to have this, you know, the different look here, rather than just the classic red outfit. And speaking of which, I've got a couple of others here just for a bit of a comparison, a couple other versions of Daredevil. So I've got this one from the hand, when he was leading the hand, I believe that was. That was from possibly early last year or the year before. So it's a relatively recent one. Now, this was the very first version of Daredevil I ever picked up, this armoured version. I think this was from one of the retro card waves. I think it was based on the Spider-Man animated series. Perhaps he appeared in this look. But anyway, yeah, it's just more different options for your Daredevils. Any collectors out there, if you like having different styles, different looks for characters, then, you know, this one just fits in perfectly. It's another different look for your shelf. You know, it is a relatively simple design, just a plain one. As we showed before with some of these other heads, you know, you can swap it out and get other options. It's a shame he doesn't come with any different heads himself, even just an unmasked head or possibly one with the hood up. But, you know, it is based on the actual comic design, so I can't fault the actual figure designers for that. That's just how the character looks. So yeah, I do like how we've got a range of different options here for Daredevil, all different styles. Now, I don't currently yet have just the original classic red outfit for him, but I see that they have announced one coming up in the Secret Wars wave, so hopefully we can pick that one up and take a look at that as well. Pretty good one here. Again, it's a little bit simple, but, you know, I like it, so I'll give that a thumbs up as well. Now, please leave in the comments and let me know what's your favourite version of Daredevil. Is it one of these or the classic one, possibly the red and yellow outfit? Either way, just let me know, and please subscribe to the channel. As a brand new channel here, it really does help. I really appreciate it, all the support. So please stick around for more, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers, we'll catch you next time.